Welcome to Breakup Cheater, the place where untold stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking secrets come alive. If you crave suspense, emotional journeys, and tales that linger long after the screen goes dark, you're in the right place. Subscribe and step into the stories most people are too afraid to tell. The first time I saw her leap into the sea, I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs, not out of fear for her life, but because of the man she dove toward. The salt spray stung my eyes, and I could hear the distant cries of tourists, oblivious to the private catastrophe unfolding before me. Emily, my wife of 8 years, had betrayed me in a way that made every shared memory between us feel like a cruel joke. And in that instant, watching her disappear into the waves beside him, I realized I had finally stopped being surprised by her betrayals. It hadn't started like this. In the beginning, we were ordinary enough. Friday night dinners, early morning coffees, whispered promises in a dimly lit bedroom. But over time I noticed the small things. The way her phone vibrated constantly. Her eyes darting to it even when she swore she wasn't expecting anything. The evenings she worked late, but smelled faintly of perfume that wasn't mine. At first I convinced myself I was imagining it. Love has a way of dulling suspicion, or maybe I just wanted to protect my own heart. I remember the night I caught her first text. I hadn't meant to, of course. I was coming home early from a business trip, the airport quiet behind me, my suitcase rolling softly over the tiles. The door to our bedroom was slightly ajar, and there it was, her phone on the bed, buzzing with a message. "Can't wait to see you again tonight," face blowing a kiss. My hands went cold. My stomach turned. I stared at her reflection in the mirror, and for the first time, the woman I had loved for years looked like a stranger. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. Instead, I watched. I observed. I let her betray me further because deep down I was testing my own heart, seeing how much it could endure before it broke completely. Days turned into weeks. The laughter we once shared became hollow. Conversations became strategic, carefully measured to avoid any discussion of intimacy, or emotions, or the obvious cracks that had begun to split our marriage in two. I stopped asking questions. I stopped hoping for apologies. And slowly, I started to ignore her. Not in the petty sense. No cold silences or door slams, but in the quiet, invisible way that hits harder than any confrontation. I stopped expecting her to be faithful, to love me, to even care. I detached, and for the first time in years, I felt a strange kind of peace. The day of the sea incident was deceptively calm. The sun hung low, painting the sky with streaks of orange and crimson. Emily had insisted on a vacation by the coast, claiming we needed quality time after my exhausting work schedule. I went along, of course, not because I wanted to, but because she still carried a familiarity that tugged at the edges of my old affections. We walked along the pier in silence. She smiled at the vendors, at the children laughing near the shore, at couples strolling hand in hand. But her eyes kept scanning the horizon, alert, expectant. That's when I saw him. The man she had been texting. The one who wasn't me. He was waiting in the shallows, chest deep in the water, grinning like he owned the world. My stomach twisted. I wanted to shout, to run, to throw myself at her and demand explanations. But I didn't. I let the moment linger, letting it pierce through me in slow, deliberate waves. "I thought you said you didn't like swimming," I said quietly, not moving my gaze from the water. "Oh, come on," she replied, rolling her eyes. "Don't start. It's warm today." Her casual tone made my blood boil. She had the audacity to speak as if nothing was wrong, as if our years together were irrelevant. And yet, part of me still recognized her. The same laugh, the same tilt of her head when she was amused, the same careless flirtation I had once adored. Before I could stop her, she stripped off her dress, revealing a swimsuit that hugged her curves in all the ways I once thought were exclusively mine. The man in the water waved her over. She smiled at him, a smile that had once been mine. And then she jumped. Time slowed as she fell into his arms, water splashing violently around them. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. I felt every second, every splash, every moment of her betrayal like a physical strike. I turned and walked away. Not fast, not in panic, but deliberately, each step heavy with the weight of resignation. The pier creaked beneath my feet. Children laughed. Seagulls cried. Life went on, indifferent to my heartbreak. Back in our hotel room, I packed my bags. I didn't wait for explanations. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just moved silently, efficiently. Emily tried to stop me. "Wait," she said, her voice shaking. "Why are you leaving? Can't we?" "No," I interrupted softly. "We can't. Not anymore." She lunged for me, her hands grasping my arm, but I shrugged her off. There was nothing left for me here. Every touch had become poisoned. Every word a lie. Every memory a trap. I took a taxi to the train station, the city fading behind me like a dream I was finally waking from. I didn't call anyone. I didn't announce my departure. I just sat, letting the rhythm of the tracks soothe the raw ache in my chest. For weeks afterward, I lived in a strange limbo. I stayed with friends, avoided familiar streets, avoided her. I focused on my work, on myself, on reclaiming pieces of my identity that had been overshadowed by years of love, and, ultimately, betrayal. But the memory of that day, her leap into the sea, haunted me. Not because of what she did, but because of what it revealed, that I had loved someone capable of discarding me so easily. Months later, I received a letter. No return address. No signature, just her handwriting sprawled across the page. "I can't stop thinking about that day," it began. "About the way you walked away, the way you let me go without a fight. Thought I was free. I thought I wanted him. But when I saw you leaving, I realized I had lost the only person who ever truly mattered. I was selfish, and I hurt you in ways I can't undo. I'm sorry, truly. But I understand if you never forgive me. I just needed you to know that I see now. I see everything." I folded the letter carefully, tracing the lines with a trembling finger. It was an apology, but it was too late. The damage was done. The trust, the bond, the years of shared life, they couldn't be salvaged with words alone. There were nights when I wondered if I had made a mistake by walking away so quietly, by ignoring her instead of confronting her, by not pleading for what we once had. But then I remembered the look on her face when she jumped, the ease with which she abandoned me, and I knew. There was nothing left for me in that love. Nothing but pain and the echo of betrayal. Eventually I found solace in silence. In mornings without arguments. In evenings spent reading on the balcony. The ocean stretching infinitely before me. I learned to breathe again. To sleep without nightmares. To laugh without guilt. I discovered that walking away wasn't a weakness. It was survival. And Emily. I heard she left him shortly after. I don't know why, and I don't care. It doesn't matter. Her choices, her regrets, they are hers to bear. Have my own life now. My own peace. My own freedom. Sometimes when the wind is just right, I hear the faint rush of waves and I imagine her there, somewhere facing the consequences of her choices. And for the first time in a long time I smile. Not out of triumph, but because I am finally unburdened. Life taught me a cruel lesson, but a necessary one. Love can be beautiful, but it can also be fleeting. Trust can be sacred, but it can be shattered. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is turn your back on the person who promised forever and walk toward yourself instead. The sea is calm today. I watch it from my balcony, remembering her leap. Not with anger, not with sorrow, but with the clarity of someone who has survived and emerged whole. And I realize that in ignoring her betrayal, in letting her swim toward the life she chose without me, I discovered something invaluable. My own strength. My own worth. My own freedom. I will never forget her. And I will never forgive her. But I will also never let her shadow define me again. In this life I choose myself. And for the first time in years that is enough. Thank you for watching. If you felt the tension, the heartbreak, or the raw emotion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. More stories of love, betrayal, and the dark truths of life are coming soon. Until next time. Remember, not every story has a happy ending, but every story deserves to be told.